Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of season 3 of Upod. I'm Addy. I'm super excited to be here. Janet and Khyler are also here. We're going to be talking about going back to school, how we feel about being seniors, getting back into the swing of things with the new school year, things like that. A little bit about me. I go to PV, I play volleyball, I'm a part of NHS, Key Club, PV Pals, just stuff like that. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hey guys, I'm Janet. I also go to PV. I'm on the volleyball team as well. I'm part of NHS, Key Club, Big Brothers Big Sisters, Scioli, and now you matter.
Hey guys, I'm Khyler. I go to PV as well, and I play tennis. I love to ski, and I'm part of NHS. So, yeah.
Yay. Okay, so our first question is, how do we feel about being seniors in last year of high school?
I have very mixed feelings about it because I feel like it's kind of sad that it's going to be, it's like our last year and stuff, but I'm also like excited because just new experiences in college and everything.
Yeah, I agree. It's like super like scary because it's like, I feel like just like a year of like lasts, like it's like our last time doing a bunch of things, but I agree. I'm like really excited for college and like the next chapter of my life.
I agree with both of you guys. Like I'm scared and like nervous, and especially I feel like we haven't really gotten like a full high school experience, so I feel like it went by so fast.
It's been hard because of COVID.
Yeah, because of COVID. Like I don't feel like a senior, like mentally. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
same.
think specifically like going to homecoming for the last time was really hard because I was like, this is my last high school homecoming.
Yeah, and it's crazy because like for PV, like this probably isn't the same for like the rest of our UmattR team, but like we had rivalry week the first week of school and then homecoming like the third week of school, so we've already done like a bunch of the fun like senior year things, which is crazy.
It was like crammed into the very beginning, I think, which made it like
I know, it's kind of weird. I'm like, what
Can't
am I
take
looking
it all
forward
in.
to now? Yeah.
Well, and especially like we've already been in school for almost 2 months now. Like we're approaching
1 month.
1 month. Oh well, it's been a month, but
It's been a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh wait, it's September. What's today? The 20th?
Yeah, it's the 20th.
Well, it's like I just like mentally like October just puts me at 3 months. So
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Although I love the fall school vibes.
I do.
So I'm very
really.
excited
I feel
for
like
that.
Yeah, fall semester is definitely the best. Just the vibes are good.
It's also just like a lot happens in the fall semester. Like all the fun stuff, like the football games, Friday Night Lights, like all that stuff happens in the fall semester.
Yeah.
Spring semester, that's when we're like, it's almost time.
Yeah. I think it's been kind of crazy this year too, having to apply to colleges and like do the ACTs. That's been really like stressful.
Yeah,
opposed
that part.
to
Yeah, I'm
other
taking
years.
the SAT again in like 2 weeks, which is very scary. But yeah, it's crazy. I feel like it's nice because my classes this year have definitely been easier than they have in years past, but I've been like focusing on like applying to college and scholarships and that kind of thing, so that's just like the stress is the same.
I agree. It's actually, I was applying to a few scholarships today, and I was like, oh, my head hurts.
I feel like it's kind of crazy because everybody talks about how junior year is so stressful and so hard, but I feel like senior year is almost even worse, just solely at the beginning, like with all the colleges and like applying for scholarships. I feel like it's almost even more stressful than junior year was, and I feel like you never hear about that.
In junior year, you're stressed about your grades and like doing stuff to like strengthen your college applications and stuff like that, but now you're like worried about actually getting into college, and it's like I don't know, it feels like bigger almost. You know, like there's more pressure.
And I know for us, our junior year, we stacked on classes, like the hard like AP classes and stuff.
We did
So it was a hard year for us because like AP classes aren't easy. Like there's a lot of work.
Yeah, it was hard.
Definitely was hard. But I don't know, I think a really like struggle too has been friends. I feel like this year, like friends, like keeping friends senior year is really hard. I feel like especially with like shortened schedules, you don't see your friends as much.
100%.
And I feel like it's been like definitely a lonely year.
I agree. It's been like, I don't know, it's
opposed to other years.
Yeah, like I feel like last year I hung out with my friends like all the time, and I've like hardly done that all this year, and like I feel like everyone has been super busy, but but everyone has such like different schedules this year that I think it's really hard to find time to hang out with people.
I agree. It's really hard because last year we all had like full schedules and stuff, and like we were all like involved in the same things. And now this year it's just like so different. Like so many new things have happened this year, and it kind of has just like, it's sad. Like we're all still friends and stuff, but it's just like, it's sad because I feel like we've drifted a lot. Like friendships like this year, like it's not even just like us personally. I feel like a lot of people, like you just see it around the school.
I've talked to a lot of people who are like, senior year's been really like isolating and been really hard.
And it's not supposed to be like, you know, it's all you always hear about. Oh my gosh, senior year's the best part of high school. Like that's the best year, and I'm just like, I don't know. So far, I've kind of felt like junior year was a lot better.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like for me, it's, I don't know, like it still feels like too soon to tell. I feel like I'm still kind of like getting back into the swing of things, like going back to school and stuff. But it's also really scary because like after this year, like we're all gonna be in different places.
Yeah,
like
that's terrifying.
we're gonna, like we won't have each other anymore, which is so sad. But yeah, everyone's gonna be all over the place, which is like even more scary. Like I feel like, I don't know, like we're gonna be even further apart from like our friendships now, which is really sad.
It is sad.
And I know I've talked to like a lot of my friends who have different, so I start at 4th hour and go to 7th hour, but a lot of my friends start at like 1st hour and go to 3rd hour. And so having those different schedules, it's really hard to hang out with some of my friends.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
if they had the same schedule as me, then we could just hang out in the morning like before school. But most of them don't. Most of them have morning classes.
Yeah.
So then
really
sports
hard.
after school.
Yeah.
So it's been really hard to hang out with my friends. Keep those relationships.
See, I start at 4th hour too, but we start at different times because like the different lunch schedules, which is nice. I have A lunch, so I don't have to go to school later. But you have B lunch, so you go a little earlier than me.
I kind of like going to lunch at school though, because I do have those friendships at lunch.
Yeah, it's like a built-in time to hang
See,
out.
I
with your
miss
friends.
lunch. Like our conversations at lunch last year were so fun, and now I'm just like,
I know if I didn't have lunch, I would feel really isolated and really like
that would be really hard.
yeah.
I think we already kind of covered that, but would you guys say that like that's been the most challenging part of senior year so far?
Yeah,
like,
the friendships.
Yeah, I agree.
It's
100%. Okay, well, let's move on to a lighter subject. What are you guys most excited about for this year?
Probably all the senior stuff, like all the specific senior, like senior sunrise. I enjoyed that a lot.
It was
like
super
senior
fun.
sunrise,
Yeah.
and just like prom as a senior, and I don't know, senior prank if it's not too crazy, but like, and just like all the fun senior stuff, like senior ditch day,
I agree.
senior
Like project grad, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's really fun. This is gonna sound like really nerdy, but I am most excited to figure out what college I'm going to. So I have like a plan for my life.
Yeah, that's not nerdy at all.
Right now it's kind of just like up in the air, and I have no idea where I'm gonna be next year. So I'm very excited to know that soon.
See, I think that's something like a good thing to look forward to, because that's kind of how I think that's how we all are right now. It's like, what's gonna happen for the next 4 years of our lives? Like, what's after? Like, what's after this? Because we're gonna be on our own.
Yeah. And I don't know about you guys, but I have no idea what college I want to go to. So just having that so up in the air is kind of stressful.
Yeah, 100%.
Have to apply to so many and then figure out where I want to be.
Yeah, like it's so hard to decide like what place is going to be like, the best fit.
Yeah. And I've gone and looked at some colleges, and everyone's like, when you know what college, it just feels right.
Really?
And it's just, I don't feel that. And so I'm like, oh, this must not be it. But I don't know. Everyone's always like, you know what college you want to go to once you see it and go there.
I'm like, I haven't felt that yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I went to like a summer session at U Chicago this year, and they gave us the option to apply like early decision. So like it has like a 7% acceptance rate, but it would be like a 40% acceptance rate if I applied then. But it just like didn't feel right.
Yeah.
And I ended up not applying, which was like really a hard decision. And I'm kind of like, was that right? Like I'm like, maybe I'm missing out on this like really amazing opportunity. But it just like, it didn't feel right. And I think that's important.
And that's where you're going to be living.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
4 years,
like that's the next 4 years of my life. And
if
I
it
don't
doesn't
want
feel
to
right,
hate it.
yeah,
exactly.
And I know a lot of people who have like transferred colleges
Yeah,
because they didn't like it, and that's really
like
hard
in the first
too.
few months.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of that happening.
Okay. So what has been your guys' favorite class this year so far?
Well, I only have 3 classes at the school, but I think my favorite class right now is one of my dual credit classes I'm taking. I'm taking Intro to Sociology, which is so interesting right now.
Yeah, I took that a few years ago, and I loved it.
It's really interesting. Like, I don't know, something new.
Yeah,
It's
that
really
sounds
cool.
interesting.
How
I think
about you guys?
my favorite class is probably government, just because we have so many of our friends in there.
Mhm.
And
It's a
that's how
super fun class.
it
we
is really
can.
fun.
That's my social
Yeah.
aspect. And then I like Mr. Burns too, our teacher.
I love him. I love how like passionate he is,
He is,
about
yeah.
what he teaches.
Agreed.
He's doing a really good job.
I just love all the Burns because there's 3 of them at our school. So many.
Yes.
Yeah, I really love government. I like literature right now with Mr.
Yeah.
Johnson. I love Mr. Johnson too, so that's fun. Like also a fun class with cool people in it.
Yeah.
And Mr. Johnson is also, I think he also really like cares about what he's teaching us and just about like us in general, which I really like.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
Yeah. And then while we're talking about classes, what is like the biggest motivation that you guys have for like staying in school and doing well in school and like keeping your grades up, things like that? Like what is motivating you?
I think my biggest thing is that for keeping my grades up specifically, I'm like a perfectionist. So, and I think I just like have that mindset that like I have to be perfect at whatever I do.
Yeah,
And so I think
feel
that's a real
that.
motivation to like get good
Yeah,
grades because
100%.
just I want to push myself to do
Yeah,
good
exactly.
and to get those good grades
that.
and stuff. So,
Yeah, and also for me, I feel like sometimes being a perfectionist works in like the opposite way because sometimes if I'm like
Yeah.
doing an assignment and I like don't understand it or I feel like I'm not doing it well, I just won't do it because I'm like
Yeah.
it has to be perfect
Yeah.
or I'm not doing it, and then I end up like procrastinating and it ends up really bad.
Yeah.
But
I agree. Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, just keeping up the good grades and stuff, because it kind of just stresses me out. Because, like, I don't know, I'm scared of failure. Like, I've always been like that, and it's just graduating, finishing high school has always been like something I've grown up like being told. So it's just that's what's motivated me is like just constantly hearing it. And like
Yeah,
I
I
didn't,
feel
yeah,
that.
like my mom didn't finish high school and neither did my dad, and so I'm kind of just like I want to be part of a new generation.
yeah, which is
I
super
get
cool.
that. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, for me, it's kind of the same thing, like perfectionism and things like that, and I just like can't like not do well. Like I have to try my best, or else I just don't feel right. And I feel like I don't know. I feel like from like a very young age, I've constantly told like, "Oh, you're so smart. You do so good in school," and that's kind of become like a huge just part of who I am,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? So that's something that, like, motivates me is, like, this
Yeah.
is something I really care about, and it's something really important to, like, me as a person.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we go to school for so long, so like I don't know, it's just like a waste of time if I didn't do good.
Yeah.
Like I feel
Yeah,
like personally it would be
100%.
just like a waste of time. Like cuz we've gone to school forever. Like I don't know how many years it's been, but like ever since I could remember. And it's just like if we didn't do well, like what's the point of us being in like school? Like
Yeah, that's
like
very
what
true.
motivates me is like I don't want to waste time.
Yeah, and for me personally, I, like, really do enjoy, like, school and learning.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I just, like, I love to learn. Like, I feel like if I could just, like, stay in school forever, like, if I could just go to college for the rest of my life, I'd be perfectly happy and just, like,
Yeah.
learn
Yeah.
everything. Like, I don't know, I just love it.
I don't know. And I think part of that too is I don't like teachers because I like to learn, so I don't really like teachers who don't teach very much.
Yeah.
I have such a hard
100%.
time with that, and I know
Yeah,
a lot of
I
people are
agree.
like, "Oh, they're so easy because they don't teach." But I have such a hard time with teachers that don't teach
Yeah,
very much.
because, like, we're
Yeah.
in school to learn, and that's, like,
yeah,
I don't know.
And so
like,
I really
no
like the
one's
teachers that
wasting
teach a
time.
lot and like.
Like I'd rather have a
agree.
teacher that like teaches a
hard
lot
and
and is
gives a lot of
hard than someone that's easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. I think, I don't know, having teachers that don't care is really frustrating.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
frustrating.
Um,
And then so many kids are like, "Oh, they're so fun." I'm like, "No, I want to learn."
Yeah. Because I know, like, we've taken a class
Yeah.
where the teacher just doesn't teach anything.
Yeah, and
just gives us all the answers, and then at the end, we
it,
just
yeah,
don't
it
know
harms
anything.
us in the long run. Like
Yeah,
when we're
like
taking
the
an AP test and we don't know anything on it.
Yeah.
It's
Tears rolling down my face. I had no idea what was going on in that test.
Starts drawing pictures instead of actually doing the test because you don't
Yeah,
understand.
I had no idea
when
what I was
we
doing.
got our AP scores back, I was in Chicago with all these like insanely smart people, and I did not do great on my AP test last year. I failed 2 of them, and these other kids are just like, yeah, I got a 5 in AP Calc, and I was like, that's great. I definitely am not there, but it's okay. But I think that leads us to another topic. I feel like comparing ourselves to other people is like a really big thing in high school, especially like grades, appearances, sports, like things like that. And I think, I don't know, that's something I've always struggled with, but I think having,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just growing up, I've always like just compared, like even like education wise, because like that's why I like take harder classes, is because like I don't want to, like I want to fit in and like kind of just like be part of like, oh my gosh, like with my friends and stuff, just because like they take like the harder classes as well. And I like the harder classes because I don't like being classes that are easy because you're with a different group of people. Like it's different because like in the easier, like if you take an easy class, like people know that you're like smart kid and they're like, oh, you can do the work. I don't like that.
Yeah, that's true.
I think I've kind of learned too, once I got to high school, because in middle school, I always used to, like, I used to do all my work and everyone used to copy my answers. And by high school, I was so tired of people always just using me for my work. And so I think by high school, I started acting dumb so that people wouldn't ask me for answers. And so I just started acting like I had no idea. And people would be like, Khyler, do you have the assignment? And I'd be like, oh, no, I have no idea what to do, even though I did the assignment. Just because I hated that people were using me for my answers. People I wouldn't even talk to would be like, Khyler, what's the answer? And literally just use me for answers.
I think that was a big thing during COVID. Like, everyone was asking, like, the smart kids for answers because they, you know, expect us to do the work. And, I mean, we did, but it's like you could use the excuse, I don't know, it's online school. I don't know what we're doing.
I don't know. And I think kind of, like, the opposite thing happened to me, which is, like, super weird. But growing up, like, I talked about this earlier, but I was always, like, I feel like people were always like, oh, you're so smart, like... And I feel like for a long time that was like all people saw in me, and I found that like really frustrating. And I was like, no, I'm like more than that. Like I do other stuff. Like I am not just good at school. So I like during like middle school and like my freshman year, I tried really hard to like hide the fact that I was like good at school. Like I would just like not, I don't know, like just be like, oh, like no, I don't understand this, and like, oh, I'm not gonna try at school. Like I wanted to be cool and stuff like that. But I think during COVID, like I kind of like figured like it's okay to be smart. Like that's cool. Like own it, you know? Like it's not something to be ashamed of.
I think that's also one thing that's been really hard. Is like finding a balance between like giving someone answers and being able to say no.
Yeah, 100%.
But still like know that you don't have to be dumb, like act dumb.
Exactly. Like it's okay to just set those boundaries.
Yeah.
Like no.
And that's a thing that like everyone struggles with, I feel like, just like going up like into school.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Okay, and then for our final question, this is a really good one. If you had the chance, what would you do differently in high school? Like, what would you change about your high school experience?
Honestly, I don't know that I would really change anything. I've loved high school. I've loved every part about it, just like making friends. Even COVID, like I know a lot of people through COVID lost a lot of their friends.
Yeah.
And it was really hard for a lot of people, but for me personally, I grew closer to my friends, a lot of my friends, because during COVID when we started this study group, and so every Tuesday I'd go over to my friend's house and we would just like study and do like school and get on our Zooms and stuff, and I became really close with like that group of people. And I feel like it really brought me closer to a lot of my friends, whereas I know a lot of people struggled with that and they just felt really isolated. But for me personally, I really liked COVID times because I just got closer on a personal level.
I felt like COVID, it was like there was good and bad to it. Like I feel like COVID, like obviously you like a lot of people lost friends and like lost these like friendships, but that also kind of showed like who truly like should have been in your life, like, you know. I feel like that's when I grew closer to like people, and that's like when I kind of like didn't, like, stopped caring about, like, other people's opinions, because I've always, like, been like, oh, I've been a people pleaser my whole entire life, and, like, during COVID, that's kind of, like, it broke my boundary of, like, trying to please everyone, because it's impossible to try to please everyone.
Yeah.
And so I feel like COVID definitely helped me, like, gain that, like, confidence to be like, I don't need to please you, because it used to upset me whenever I heard someone, like, didn't like me or wasn't, like, too fond of me or anything, but now I think I'm a lot better at it than now.
Yeah. Kind of me too. I feel like during COVID, I, like, didn't really hang out with anyone. Like, I felt super lonely and alone, like, kind of like the opposite of what you said. But it, like, really gave me time to kind of, like, I don't know, this sounds really, like, corny and cheesy, but, like, do some self-reflection. And I think I had spent, like, a lot of middle school and, like, my freshman year kind of trying to please other people.
Yeah.
And, like, I wasn't really being true to myself. And I think COVID gave me the chance to kind of, like, rediscover, like, who I really am, and that was, like, really important, like, self-development for me, and I'm really thankful for it. And I think when I came back to school my junior year, I found, like, because I knew who I was and was a lot more secure in that, I found, like, really amazing friends, and, like, it was just a lot better for me, like, mentally.
Yeah, I agree. Junior year definitely was, like, the best year of my life, because that's when, like, I rediscovered everything and, like, you know, self-reflection. And that's when I kind of, like, solidified, like, who I really am, I guess. Because, like, you know, before that, it's, like, you kind of, I feel like everyone kind of goes through the stages, like, where they're trying to figure out who they are and, like, who they fit in with the most. And I feel like junior year definitely, like, was when everyone kind of figured out that who they are as a person.
Yeah. I kind of feel the same way. Like, I don't know if I would change anything different.
Yeah.
If I would do anything differently for my high school experience. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel really happy with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Also, just, like, school-wise, I feel like I've learned so much, or school-wise and just life-wise. I feel like you learn a lot during high school, and that's really valuable.
See, for me, I personally, for my first two, like, freshman and sophomore year, I wish I was kind of more motivated in school, because I procrastinated a lot, like, freshman and sophomore year, and, like, our freshman year, we got cut in half, and especially when we were online, I don't feel like I really learned much our sophomore year when we were, like, doing virtual really learning. So I feel like that's what I would change, because I took so many, like, great classes, like chemistry and stuff. So interesting, but I don't really remember anything from it, just because purely we were online.
Yeah.
And so for, like, education wise, I wish that it was like just how they did online school. I wish it was better. Like,
that's true. I think online school was really
like
hard.
it was really hard to wake up at 8 a.m. and listen to honors chemistry. Like, my brain just could not do that.
Yeah.
But, like, if we were in person, I totally would still remember, like, stuff from chemistry.
Yeah, 100%. Chemistry was hard.
Chemistry was hard, but it's so interesting.
I liked chemistry.
Yeah,
really? I honestly
hated
really
it.
liked it, because once it clicked, I liked it.
You, like,
I don't know.
See, it never
really.
clicked for me, and I wish it did, because, like, when I was in 8th, that's when it started clicking. Like, I was in 8th last year, and I took chemistry my sophomore year. But, like, when I was in 8th, like, I started learning more about chemistry, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, what if I did this the whole year last year?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I missed out on so much, like, learning opportunities.
Yeah. I honestly am not, like, a math or science person, like, at all. So I think that made chemistry really hard for me. But
I don't know. One thing I think I would change too, probably, is specifically, like, freshman year and maybe sophomore too, but it was more online, so it wasn't as big of a deal. But freshman year, specifically, like, school dances or, like, hanging out with friends, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, I remember freshman year homecoming. Hated it so much.
Yeah.
I hated everything about
like
it, just
either.
because I cared so much about what other people, like, thought of me, and I was like, didn't want to do anything stupid. And so I think if I were to go back, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Because that's what's
really
made, like, school dances, I think, so much more fun too now, is that I just don't care what other people think, and then I just have fun.
Yeah,
And
100%.
my freshman year, it was terrible. I hated it so much, because I was just, like, thinking, like, what will people think of me, like, all that. And I think it was really noticeable at homecoming, because I didn't like, but I think all of, like, freshman year, I kind of was just like, well, what do people think of me?
Yeah.
And I think if I were to
feel
go
that.
back, I would have just, like, not cared and try to also, like, hang out with people more.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
my freshman year, I didn't really try to necessarily, didn't put effort in to make those connections with people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's what isolates a lot of people too.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, 100%.
in our society, you kind of have to reach out to people to hang out.
Mm-hmm.
I've learned, like, through my high school years, like, you kind of have to reach out to those people that you want to hang out with and you want to be friends with.
Yeah.
And you can't just expect them to reach out to you.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody's kind of wanting them to reach out, people to reach out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like...
It's better to be the one to, like, do it.
And, like, obviously not always, because it's a really one-sided friendship, but...
Yeah.
Well, see, and I, like, freshman and sophomore year, like, we couldn't really drive. And I feel like
Yeah.
that's also, like, a big part of, like, why we didn't really hang out. Like, people, like, don't really hang out. And I feel like that's, like, your, like, not loneliest, but, like, you're kind of, like, more to yourself, like, freshman and sophomore year. Like, that's why I'm so glad that we all, like, are able to drive. Because now, like, you know, like, with, like, driving and stuff, you get a little more freedom. Like, and, like, that's how I am personally. Like, my mom, like, when I started driving, I got a lot more freedom. Because, like, freshman and sophomore year, I didn't hang out with, like, anyone. And that's just because, like, my mom was so strict. No one had, like, time to, like, you know, drop me off, like, to go hang out with my friends or anything. But, like, starting to drive and stuff, like, I've definitely gotten a lot more freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think, I don't know, for me personally, like, hanging out with people, I am, like, such a big introvert. And so I feel like sometimes I just don't want to hang out with people. But I feel like once you find people that, like, you don't, like, as an introvert, like, once you find people that you don't feel, like, exhausted by, like, being around, it's super fun to hang out with them. And now that we're seniors, I kind of just want to, like, be around people that I love and that I'm friends with, like, as much as possible. Because, like, it's my last year.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, just want to make, like, every moment count.
Which is so interesting, because I'm definitely an extrovert. Like, I want to be around people
Me too.
all the time. Like, it doesn't matter who. I just want to be around people, because I love people.
Yeah.
So
I love being around.
that's interesting to hear. Like, you say how. Because you're
Yeah.
an introvert. Like, finding the right people, it doesn't feel, you don't mind.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
probably why you enjoyed COVID a lot more, is because, like, you liked keeping to
Yeah,
yourself
I was
a lot more.
chilling.
Yeah.
I was by myself. I was like,
it
this
was
is
so
great.
hard on me, just because, like, I'm a talkative person, and I love, like, being around people and stuff. So, like, yeah, I'm a major extrovert. So it was kind of just hard from, like, like, going to school every day, seeing all my friends, and all of a sudden, nothing. Like, no interactions at all. Because I feel like even, like, when COVID hit, like, I didn't even, like, talk to anyone on, like, over the phone or, like, on text or anything, because people were kind of just, like, chilling.
Yeah. One thing I was super grateful for during COVID is my mom, because I'm really close with her. She's, like, my best friend. So I had kind of, like, a built-in, like, best friend there with me throughout all of COVID, which was really nice, especially because I wasn't really close with a lot of, like, people my own age. So it was I was really grateful to have her there and, like, be close with her. So that was really good.
Which is a really nice.
Yeah. COVID definitely strengthened my bond with, like, my mom and my brother, because I was never really close with them until COVID, because we were locked in the house together. I think it was great. I like COVID for that aspect, because, like, I've never been, like, close with my mom, and then COVID hit. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
mommy.
I don't know. And back to, like, the hard things about being a senior. I think one of the hardest things, too, is, like, watching all my senior friends last year who are freshmen in college now just leave. Like, that I think was so hard for me.
Yeah.
Because I had a really good group of friends that were all seniors last year. And so then when they all left, it's been really, like, weird adjusting to, like,
100%.
them all leaving and them not being at school all the time. And I think that's been really hard, too.
Yeah, definitely. It feels really weird because we are the oldest people at our school right now. And it's hard because there's not that, like, group of upperclassmen or, like, people older than us to, like, look up to anymore. You know, like, we are that group, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be really hard.
Yeah.
See, I wasn't really close with, like, any, like, seniors last year, but, like, I know you were. So.
Yeah, I was really close with, like, and I still, like, have you guys.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too hard for me because I still have you guys, but it was kind of weird. Just
it's
all
really
of a sudden
hard.
them going back to school and, like,
To go from, like,
people that I've, like, played tennis with and, like, grown up with for all 4 years of high school are just gone.
Yeah.
And I think specifically at tennis, it's been really weird because all the seniors left.
Yeah.
And that was, like, my group of friends, because I've been playing since I was in 8th grade. So I was there when they were all freshmen. And so it was just, like, me and the seniors. And then they left, and it was weird.
And now it's like, just you.
Yeah.
See, I feel like that it's so hard, too, because, like, now I'm, like, with volleyball and stuff, I'm starting to get closer with, like, underclassmen, and I know that's going to be hard, like, especially, like, when I leave, because it's going to be, like, the same thing. Like, you instead of, like, you know, them, like, leaving you, it would be like me leaving them.
Yeah.
So it's like,
And I think that part's not as hard probably going to be for you.
Yeah.
Because you're going out and making new
college,
experiences.
But like thinking that it
they're
might
kind
like
of just being like left
Mhm.
there.
which is like really hard to think about. It's like
And that's what I'm sad to leave my sister too,
Yeah.
because me and my sister are really close, and so like leaving my sister, I think is gonna be really hard when I go to college.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's gonna be really tough. Yeah, that's what I'm really scared for. I'm like leaving my mom is gonna be
Yeah.
really hard for me because
Yeah.
she's like my best friend, and it's gonna be rough. I know. She was like joking. She was like, "I'm gonna come visit you all the time," and I was like, "You should literally just move with me.
Just
Like, you should just come with me. You can live in my dorm."
Yeah. See, like I'm with like college, like, you know, I obviously am gonna miss like home and stuff, but I'm excited for like a new experience.
Yeah.
And like
too.
I don't want to go to college somewhere super far. Like I want to go far enough away from home, but like not too far.
Yeah.
So
Really?
Like a good 6 hours.
Yeah,
so I can make it in a
exactly.
day. Like if I want to go on a
Yeah.
random weekend, I could. Like it's
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
Not every weekend, because like that's
you
want
want
to
to go across the country.
Yeah, a lot of the colleges I want to go to are like plane
I can
Yeah.
rides
never do
away.
Yeah. See,
It's
I
gonna
want to
be
stay in
really
the Four
hard.
Corners area.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm really sad to be leaving, but I really want to go somewhere like new and like really different.
Yeah.
Just,
Mhm.
I don't know. That's something like I've always wanted to do. I don't really know
Mhm.
why, but like ever since I was young, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to go.
Just the thought of it, it scares me. Like even
Yeah.
like leaving the like Albuquerque or something. Like I'm like it just like it just scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah, I
I
get
haven't
that.
gotten to the point where I'm like, cause we're in the very beginning of our senior year, so I haven't really gotten to the point where I'm where I need to like worry about like leaving everyone yet. But just like even thinking about it now, I'm kind of just like avoiding it until I have to think.
I think
until
that's
I
like
have to worry about
another
it.
like hard part of senior year is like living in the moment instead of like thinking about like, oh, this is like the last time I'm going to be doing all this. This is my last year, and instead just like I think it's important to try to like just enjoy it and like I don't know, just like live in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for tuning in today, everyone. This will be out on Friday the 23rd, and you can catch the next podcast next month in October.
Woo! That's a wrap.